coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Michelle, sounds good. As temperatures continue to climb across the Triad, doctors are urging people to stay hydrated. A doctor with Novant Health says it's important to keep a water bottle with you at all times. He also recommends parking in shaded areas to avoid that direct sunlight. He says people should watch out for what he calls alarm symptoms when it comes to dehydration.
Feeling cool, suddenly having chills on a hot day, when you notice that you're breathing rapidly, you have your pulse is speeding up, rapid heart rate. It's also important to monitor for signs like confusion, nausea, and vomiting potentially.
Newmark recommends staying hydrated, especially during the peak hours of the day, and avoiding direct sunlight by staying in the shade when you can. And coming up, a piece of history here in the Triad, details on how this military aircraft was used and where you can see it. A piece of military history was unveiled today at a Triad memorial. A Vietnam-era helicopter known by the name Huey was installed this morning at the Guilford County Veterans Memorial in Greensboro. The aircraft entered service in 1969 and flew combat missions, including troop transport and resupply, logging more than 3,000 flight hours. Leaders say they hope the display gives visitors a chance to learn more about the history and service of Vietnam veterans.
See a lot of helicopters flying around from Vietnam, and so having the opportunity to know someone who knew someone who could provide us this on a permanent loan basis was just exciting. That people they'll see it from far away, and we're going to have a history of it there so they can read about its history while it was flying over in Vietnam.
You can see Huey and other new features on the memorial grounds at Greensboro's Country Park anytime during park hour. And just yesterday, nearly 100 veterans took part in the first Triad honor flight of this year. The group touched down just shortly after 8 at PTI Airport. 96 local veterans, including 2 women and 7 Purple Heart recipients, made that trip. They spent the day in Washington, D.C., visiting memorials and monuments like Iwo Jima, Arlington, World War II, Vietnam, and Korea. Upon their return, hundreds of people held signs and waved flags thanking them for their service. Some of the veterans on board had been on a waiting list for half a decade, and they say it was well worth the wait.
It was unbelievable. These people, it couldn't have been any better. These people need to be rewarded for what they do for these veterans. The best part is seeing the veterans in the wheelchairs, and the welcome that they gave them in Washington was unbelievable.
Nominations are still open for the 2026 Salute to Heroes. It's a way to say thank you to the men and women in the Triad whose selfless acts so often go unnoticed. The Red Cross is accepting nominations through the end of May. For more info, head to WXII12.com. And taking a look at the forecast now, the weather seems to be warming up quickly this week, and this weekend even has the chance to hit record high temperatures. Let's bring in meteorologist Michelle Kennedy. And Michelle, we didn't reach the record yesterday or today, but we almost got there.
Yeah, we're working on it right now. In fact, we usually see our highs hit between 4 to 5 o'clock, and we may have a record for this week and for this year coming up on Saturday, because 90 degrees might be the hottest day so far for 2026. We're going to see if we can get there. But today we've got mid and upper 80s out there, watching a nice line of showers. But notice how narrow it becomes as it moves through Tennessee and heading toward the mountains. So we're not optimistic this is going to bring us a lot on the ground, but it could bring us some clouds tomorrow morning. Severe weather expected to stay back to our west as we look ahead from Kansas City through the Midwest. Those are the areas that are picking up the worst of the weather, not only today, but also tomorrow. And you're seeing some of those shower and thunderstorm possibilities from moisture that's more available in these locations, but we're just not tapping into the Gulf. There's just not a lot of moisture to work with right now. It's being picked up from this region. And so with that, we've got some scattered showers, and that's about it for those showers. There are temperatures right now with a few clouds that'll start to roll in at 75 degrees in Sparta, 79 in areas of West Jefferson, 74 in Boone to North Wilkesboro at 89. We've got a few clouds out there right now too from Burlington, 88 degrees. That's a hot spot. Also 89 degrees in High Point, 89 Winston-Salem. Some of our forecast folks over in Winding Creek, Thomasville area. This is at the golf course there. 92 though down farther south in the Asheboro and Montgomery County area. You notice the rainfall totals are heaviest where we've had that line and closer to the front, but most of that action as it's moving east now, it's very limited. So we're talking under 1/10 of an inch in most areas. There's just not as much as we'd like to work with. So anytime you're seeing the purples and all the way down here, you know we're very dry. So we've got enough moving this way. I just think that the energy is not going to be overhead for long enough here and to be able to bring you enough rain on the ground. So it looks pretty dry. It's also moving through dry air. 64 degrees tomorrow morning. We'll warm up to 81 degrees around lunchtime. And then your temperatures with winds out of the west at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll still have a chance to warm well above normal, about 86 degrees in Winston-Salem and Greensboro. 61 for your morning lows with that rain chance of about 20%. Most of this is going to be winding down between 7 and 8 a.m. for folks in the foothills, and by 9 a.m. in the Triad. High temperatures there at about 85. 58 degrees in the mountains for early morning, and we'll see mostly sunny skies taking you all the way to 77 degrees. And so the rainfall totals, not looking fabulous from Friday. Maybe 1/10 of an inch in the mountains and along the border of North Carolina and Virginia. By Sunday afternoon, this is a better situation. We might get 1/10 of an inch on the ground, up to about 1/4 of an inch in a few spots from Sparta through Stewart if we can get a storm going. So those are the areas. And right now, we may even be less than 1/10 of an inch around Winston-Salem as we talk about that going through the weekend. We're hopeful, but it doesn't look fabulous. Here's a look ahead to your weekend. You can see 86 degrees on your Friday, 90 degrees on Saturday, and then we drop you down some 20 degrees. This is fabulous news for most folks who will be enjoying the weekend. You'll have some scattered showers, rain chances at about 30%, more clouds and sun for most of the day, and then 67 on your Monday to near 65. Look at this in the foothills on Sunday. So rain chances, cooler to milder conditions expected for us as we get you into the weekend. Mountain temperatures, we've got you at 77 degrees to near 80 on Saturday, so it's hot. And then milder again on Sunday with a rain chance of about 50% for folks there. It doesn't look like we're going to get a lot on the ground. We mentioned for the Piedmont Triad and the foothills too, but at least it's something, and it'll keep us from getting even worse. And the drought, well, it has gotten worse. We'll talk more about the severe drought that has spread north, the extreme drought in the foothills too. But look at this, 67 on Monday sounds pretty chilly right now. You might want to grab the sweatshirts and the hoodies.
And now's a good time to remind you, don't forget to protect your pets this week as well. With 90-degree days possible this weekend, it's important to remember just how hot the pavement can get. If the air temperature hits 90 degrees, asphalt can reach 125 and concrete can climb to 145, and those surfaces can burn your dog's paws. To help avoid injury, experts recommend walking your dog before 9 a.m. or after 7 p.m. when the ground is cooler. And if you're out during the hottest part of the day, stick to grass or shady areas. Coming up, a bombshell verdict over concert tickets. A jury finding Ticketmaster and Live Nation operated as an illegal monopoly. What this means for the future of live music pricing.
From Graham to Greensboro, WXII 12 News has you covered. Keep up with your local news team across the Triad. Follow Lindsay Klein on social media.
Today in entertainment news, a blockbuster court decision involving how most people buy concert tickets, plus a pair of films about some iconic athletes. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
A jury has found Live Nation and Ticketmaster operate as an illegal monopoly. The Justice Department and 39 state attorneys general had sued Live Nation, claiming it and its subsidiary Ticketmaster controlled virtually every aspect of the live music ecosystem. A second trial will determine whether to grant the state's request to break up the company or make other structural changes.
I grew up living below the poverty line. I just felt so inferior to everyone.
Those things drove him to search for an outlet. Basketball became that outlet.
And it was an eye-opener.
2 new documentaries take unique athletes beyond the headlines. Jerry West, The Logo, includes the final interviews with the late basketball star, who was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame as an Olympic player, a pro player, and a general manager, and is widely believed to be the model for the NBA logo. The film is now streaming on Prime Video.
O seu brincar vai nos ajudar a ganhar uma Copa do Mundo.
Era o momento dele. Foi algo diferente, algo que fez encantar o mundo.
Meanwhile, Ronaldinho, the one and only, profiles one of the greatest soccer players of all time, from his awards and championships at every level to his free-spirited lifestyle to his legal troubles. The documentary is now streaming on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Season 5 of Wake Forest University's face-to-face speaker series wrapped up, but organizers are already looking ahead and just announced who is expected to be a part of Season 6. That begins in September with Cynthia Erivo. Ken Burns will follow with a visit in October, and Michael Schur is part of a special add-on event in December. The final announced guest, Jose Andres, will visit in February. And coming up, what the Red Cross says you can do to avoid any heat-related illness ahead of a major warm-up. Breaking news out of Virginia. Shotzi Buck Hayes pled guilty to 2 charges: attempted first-degree murder and malicious wounding with intent to kill. A charge for breaking and entering was dismissed. He's accused of setting Danville Town Councilman Lee Vogler on fire in July, and investigators say the Buck Hayes later admitted to pouring gasoline on Vogler and trying to kill him. We'll have a live report from our Chris Peterson, who was inside the courtroom today, coming up. Another top story right now at 4:30, a ceasefire is set to go into effect between Lebanon and Israel tonight. President Donald Trump made the announcement on Truth Social today. The president adding he had excellent talks with leaders from both countries ahead of the deal. The announcement came just hours after a warning that if talks with Iran fail, the U.S. is, quote, locked and loaded for combat.
I'd like to emphasize during this pause that the United States Joint Force remains postured and ready to resume major combat operations at literally a moment's notice.
And the fighting between Israel and Lebanon has been a major obstacle in the U.S.-Iran talks. With the ceasefire now set to begin at 5 o'clock, there is new hope for progress on a deal. And 19 years ago today, a mass shooting at Virginia Tech killed 27 students and 5 staff members. It happened on April 16th of 2007 when a 23-year-old student opened fire on campus before taking his own life. 17 others were injured in the shooting. Virginia Tech is holding events on campus today to honor the lives lost in that tragedy. Flags across the Commonwealth are also flying at half-staff. Police say former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax died in an apparent murder-suicide. According to investigators, Fairfax shot his wife before turning the gun on himself. Officers responded to their home in Annandale shortly after midnight, where they found both victims inside. The couple's son and daughter were home at the time of those shootings. Police say the son was the person who made the call to 911. The police believe the incident may have been the result of a domestic dispute over ongoing divorce proceedings. A family is still searching for answers and justice 2 years after a Moxville mother was killed in her home while her children were there. Her husband faces charges in this case, and now her sister is making sure her memory lives on. WXII 12's Joshua Davis is in Raleigh, where a memorial now stands for Jade.
Haley Uceta says she'll never forget the day she lost her sister, but she's choosing to remember her as someone who always brought a smile to others' faces.
Her generosity, her big heart. You know, if you knew Jade, you were truly blessed.
Haley says her relationship with Jade started when the two, who are half sisters, reconnected when they were young adults, but she said it felt like they never missed a beat.
When I first met her, you know, we just gave each other the biggest hug, and, you know, we just clicked instantly. It was just the connection we had. When I was told what happened, I just looked up at the sky in disbelief that she wasn't here anymore. I was like processing what I was being told, and I just broke down crying. I couldn't believe it.
Jade was killed in April of 2024. Her partner, Dennis Sales, is charged with her murder and is awaiting trial. Now, 2 years after her death, a brick bearing Jade's maiden name now rests in the North Carolina Victim Assistance Network's Crime Victim Memorial Garden. A lasting tribute to a life and a light that won't be forgotten.
She's a life worth remembering, and, you know, I wanted her to be known by everyone, not just the people she came in contact with or crossed paths with, you know, in her life here, but, you know, people who come to the garden, they can also know who she is. You have good days, you have bad days, you know, but it's okay to talk to someone about it and let it out. But her death definitely took a piece of my heart that I will never get back.
Haley says her focus is on keeping Jade's name alive, and she plans to do everything she can to honor her memory. In Raleigh, I'm Joshua Davis for WXII 12 News.
Joshua, thank you. If you or someone you know is facing domestic violence, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline for help at 800-799-SAFE or go to thehotline.org. If you or someone you know is in crisis, call 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. To Capitol Hill now, a big debate over the fate of how to spend your taxpayer dollars is unfolding. Today, administration officials justified to lawmakers where and how that money will be spent. Our Washington correspondent Amy Liu is on Capitol Hill with the latest reactions to President Trump's newest budget proposal.
Many Democrats have balked at the price tag of this proposal, but Republicans have largely agreed that the president's request here has needed funding for war and defense capabilities.
Would you have given Charles Manson a nuclear weapon?
Absolutely not.
Isn't that what Iran's all about?
Making a case for national security and keeping nuclear weapons out of the hands of U.S. enemies.
This budget will ensure the United States continues to maintain the world's most powerful and capable military as we grapple with an increasingly dangerous world.
Office of Budget and Management Director Russell Vought suggested national security is contingent on the administration's $1.5 trillion request to rebuild the U.S. weapons stockpile. The money would also be a massive upfront investment.
They say, look, we're going to build a facility that's going to add X number of drones and planes and ships that we as a buyer can be ready to take that good deal. That's what this budget is about.
To help offset the cost of that $1.5 trillion ask, the Trump administration is proposing a 10% cut to non-defense spending, slashing funds for things like health care, housing, and education programs. At least one Democrat has called the proposal shocking, while others accuse the administration of lacking transparency over current funds being used for the war in Iran.
You're refusing here today to provide specific costs as to what this war is costing us on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis.
And back to that ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, leaders there have agreed to a 10-day stop in fighting. President Trump has invited both groups to the White House to continue diplomatic talks. Reporting on Capitol Hill, I'm Amy Lou, WXII 12 News.
All right, looking outside over Graham this afternoon. It's a beautiful day out there, and once again, Greensboro now.
Yeah.
Once again,
That's right.
Very hot out there for this time of year, Michelle, but it feels kind of nice for a change.
It does feel good to have the dry air combined with the heat, right? To have the sunshine. That's what's a little confusing too. We're not only getting the heat this time of the year, we're starting to usually get some humidity as well. So watching for that. But beautiful in Greensboro, Graham, wherever you're heading in Winston-Salem and around the Triad, it has been sunny. We've had a few clouds from early this morning. Now we're looking for more clouds. We'd like those clouds to build overhead because we have a chance to see maybe a sprinkle or at least a light passing shower possible. We have a lot of fire weather concerns out there, and you see that to the north too. And you've got showers and thunderstorms creating severe weather back over the northern plains and in the Midwest, and this is going to be a bigger deal. Our temperatures are in the upper 80s to 90s out there. In the south, you've got 90 degrees in uptown Lexington, 89 in High Point, 92 in Troy, 79 in West Jefferson right now. That sounds pretty cool compared to those hot upper 80s to near 90 east. All right, so your dew point temperatures, it's drier when we have those cooler temperatures down into the 30s and the 40s, and that shows us the range, right, of how much moisture we have to work with. When we're below 60 degrees, we know it's a lot drier, and you're really seeing that back to the west. You're going to feel a little bit more comfortable as we go into the morning hours tomorrow. Still with 60s, lots of cloud cover. A stray shower is possible, but not guaranteed. And then near record high temperatures again possible as we get you into the weekend too. We're going to talk more about it. We've got 86 degrees, 85 in the foothills, and 77 for folks in the mountains on your Friday, with more sunshine by the afternoon.
All right, Michelle, thank you. If you haven't already, now's a good time to download the free WXII 12 News mobile app. You can sign up to get weather alerts sent right to your phone so you always have the latest forecast. And when it comes to extreme heat, safety is top priority. That's why the Red Cross is sharing some tips to stay cool out there. Experts say you need to stay hydrated to avoid heat-related illness. And it's important to note here, the average person needs about 3/4 of a gallon of water every day. You also want to avoid consuming too much sugar, caffeine, and alcohol. And on top of that, you should have a plan if you need to cool off. That can be as simple as taking a cold shower or sitting in a room with working AC. And as the weather warms up, you are likely to spend more time outdoors. But if you plan to ride your bike, experts are urging you and your family to stay safe. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how to pick the proper helmet.
Every year in the U.S., nearly 1,000 bicyclists die in crashes involving a motor vehicle, and an estimated 120,000 others are taken to the emergency room after being hurt on a bike. Sometimes it's an injury to the head.
Those head injuries come about because they don't have the protection of a helmet. And when I say not the protection, that means they're either not wearing a helmet, they either have a non-compliant helmet, or the helmet doesn't fit properly.
Rich O'Brien is executive director of TIC Council Americas, a trade association that tests, inspects, and certifies products like bike helmets for companies. He says the most protective helmets are ones that meet U.S. consumer product safety requirements, so search for a label inside the helmet that says it's been tested and certified. Next, he says to make sure you're not buying a knockoff.
The best way to do that is to make sure that you buy from a reputable dealer. I would suggest going to a bicycle store to buy a helmet.
While O'Brien says buying directly online from a reputable manufacturer will also work, he says going to a store will allow you to try the helmet on, and staff may be able to help you get the right fit. And finally, when you wear a helmet, he says to always make sure the strap is fastened.
If it doesn't fit or it's not compliant, then the chances are that your injury is going to be much worse than it would have otherwise.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The popular sports drink Gatorade is getting a makeover. Its parent company PepsiCo says it wants the brand to maintain dominance and increased competition. The revamp is focused on marketing Gatorade to more people than just athletes. One planned change is the removal of synthetic dyes from some of the flavors. Gatorade invented the first commercially available hydration drink more than 6 decades ago, but roughly 150 new brands have entered the hydration space since the year 2020. And after a thriller in Philly last night, the Hornets now know their next opponent. The 76ers win over the Magic sets up Charlotte's next game in Orlando. That matchup will be a winner-go-home situation, with the winner claiming the 8th seed and advancing to face the top-seeded Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Charlotte comes in after a nail-biting win over Miami earlier this week, and if the Hornets do advance, you'll see their playoff matchup right here on WXII 12. With the NBA back on NBC this season, basketball fans will get to see several top matchups in the days to come. The first will be this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. as the top-ranked Pistons take on the 8th seed. And right after, you'll see the Spurs and Trailblazers from the Western Conference square off. Taking a look at traffic now in Winston-Salem. It looks like traffic here is moving well at 441. Carpooling and seeing a major comeback. Just ahead, an inside look at why people are making the change to save on gas and help with traffic.
First Warning Radar, the Triad's only local live radar, exclusively on WXII 12 First Warning Weather.
Carpooling is making a big comeback, and a lot of people are doing it these days, sharing their commutes to and from work, often to save money. NBC's Sam Brock takes a deeper look at what's really driving this trend.
A combination of constant congestion, soaring prices at the gas pump, and technology that puts carpooling right at your fingertips.
Just schedule your carpool the night before.
Means hitching a ride is having a moment.
Jimbo, last chance carpool.
Oh, no thanks. I think Karen and I will take my car.
Sure, might be a good idea. We all went together. We could save some gas. Be fun. Long trip.
Plenty of people taking to social media, posting about saving on gas by carpooling. And carpooling is really popping in recent weeks. The West Coast-based company Scoop saw a 40% jump in rides from February to March alone.
Why do you think it is that in recent months you've seen such a jump?
It relates to a couple of things. The price of fuel is a big one. Certainly, many companies, secondly, have been asking their employees to be in the office more frequently.
Scoop CEO Jeremy Zucker says there's also the companionship factor.
99% of the time, when people are carpooling, they'll sit in the front seat with the driver, who's a coworker, who's a neighbor. It's very communal.
In fact, that's how their technology works, connecting people traveling from similar neighborhoods, often going to the same buildings. For Jenny Gibson and Jen Fong in San Francisco.
A lot of laughing, a lot of bonding.
The principal and assistant principal at Burlingame High School have been carpooling together for years, but their county actually uses the site commute.org to offer incentives for those combined commutes.
We're trying to educate people about the importance of finding alternative ways to school other than a single person in a vehicle.
It's a way to connect, it's a way to be eco-friendly, and it's a way to save money. So I think it's a win-win for everybody in the community.
A growing number of cities and states are rewarding carpoolers with perks like free transit rides or credits. As one industry report shows, there was a 15% increase among corporate employees using carpooling in 2025.
I think definitely it would make a lot of sense if the price is affordable.
How much more expensive is it for you to fill up your tank?
It's a lot. It's like $20 more.
As there's no reason to reinvent the wheel when it comes to more cost-efficient driving.
And taking a look at the forecast, a live look over Blues Lake this afternoon. Looking beautiful out there. Just a great day to be on the water. Let's bring in meteorologist Michelle Kennedy now. Michelle, it's hot out there.
It is hot. We've got some upper 80s, even some 90s in the southern Piedmont. So hot, but look at the cold. Still bringing snow for parts of the country over the Pacific Northwest into areas like Wyoming, Montana, and then we get you going here. And this is where we've had the most active weather with severe thunderstorm activity. Tornadoes reported yesterday. And now the severe weather threat is really east of that line, and you see it up in western Pennsylvania, southern New York, getting in on some severe weather possibilities. Also back into parts of Missouri, heading into Tennessee too. So very hot weather though everywhere else in the southeast. If you don't have the rain, you've got the heat, and you've got temperatures that are some 14 degrees warmer than our average high temperatures would be, 16 degrees warmer than average in Lexington, 18 degrees warmer in Mount Airy and North Wilkesboro. You see 90 degrees currently reading in North Wilkesboro, 87 in Greensboro, 90 in High Point. All of this is really to do with the winds today. If you had a west-southwesterly wind component that popped up, we were calm for a little while at noon, and you started to see the winds come up. This can take your temperatures up to some 3 to 5 degrees in a matter of an hour's time. So definitely seeing the heat out there, and we're still waiting on those official highs. We're hitting them typically this time of the year between 4 and 5 o'clock. And today, rainfall, unfortunately none in the bucket, but we're down for the month by more than 1.5 inches, and we're seeing that struggle to get the rain on the ground. Coming up this weekend, we have the Hope Run 5K and music in the park. Now, it comes in just before the rain chances on Sunday, so Saturday morning is going to be beautiful. It'll be warm out there for you, but dry. Come out, and I'll be there with you too. It's a fundraiser for Trellis Supportive Care's free community grief counseling and charitable hospice care, and Laura Songster will be out there too. So join us all and all of the teams and people raising money all year long for this great event. We'll be dry. That's the good news for your Saturday events. Your Sunday though, and even early Friday morning might get a sprinkle. We've got the scattered showers here. Best focus for both events, whether it's Friday morning or Sunday, will be in the mountains. So you're going to be closer to the front and that area of low pressure. This is where we could pick up some more showers. Showers possible in Mount Airy, North Wilkesboro, and you see it spread out over parts of Martinsville too. We might get some super soakers if we can get a thunderstorm going through the overnight hours between midnight and 3 a.m. there. It starts to spread east between 4 and 6 a.m. across the Piedmont Triad, Greensboro, Greensboro, Burlington, maybe a spotty shower. We can try and eke a little bit of moisture out of the system, but most folks are simply going to be dry tomorrow and see some clouds in the morning. That should still keep us out of the upper 80s to 90s as we've seen today, hopefully. You can see by the afternoon we're in the mid 80s, and then by early Friday evening we're back into the 70s once the sun sets, but it does take the sun going down to see some improvements there. Temperatures at 64 tomorrow morning, warming you right back to 86 degrees for afternoon highs in the Piedmont Triad. Those early morning showers really winding down before 9 a.m. We've got 61 degrees in the foothills. Rain chances are only at 20%, and if you do see a shower, it's likely that we don't have a lot in the rain gauges under about 0.05 of an inch, so maybe just a trace of rain. Winds are out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Highs, though, still at 85. We're under this hot trend all the way through your Saturday. Your temperatures at 58 degrees in the mountains, warming to 77 throughout the late day hours. And here's how it's looking for the potential rainfall. Not great out there tomorrow. It does look like we could get a 10 to maybe a quarter of an inch going into your Sunday if we're lucky. Moderate drought right now, 5% of the state under that. And that has dropped, but it has gone up significantly for severe drought. So we're starting to see more counties added here, and now extreme drought beginning to creep into parts of the foothills. So right now is the latest update today. They come in on Thursdays for us from the drought monitor. You can see extreme drought set up for folks across areas of Boomer, Wilkesboro, and southeastern sections of Wilkes County, tapping into parts of Davie as well as Yadkin County. Rainfall potential, well, it's going to be limited. It looks like as we go into your Sunday, really it's Sunday morning through early Sunday afternoon. If we can get much going, 1/10 of an inch in Greensboro, maybe 0.06 of an inch. We'll take whatever we can squeeze out of those clouds, but just to give you an idea, it's not looking like a big rainmaker, and in fact, not everyone will see the rain, but we're optimistic at least we'll get it on the ground in a few spots, and clouds are going to come in and it's going to cool us off. Look at this huge difference between Saturday into Sunday, a 20-degree temperature drop from afternoon highs. Rain chances at about 30% for us on Sunday, and a better rain chance for folks in the mountains where you might see a few more showers than anyone else and rainfall on the ground. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Hottest day is Saturday at 90, 70 on Sunday, so milder then. Even better on Monday at 67 degrees. Morning lows are on the chilly side, 39 on Tuesday morning, 72 Tuesday, and back to the 80s middle of next week.